Aidan, you closed the season last year putting up some kind of numbers that you did against Kansas City last Friday, but have you grown in confidence, since coming back from this injury? Is anything different how you performed against the Chiefs versus even earlier in the season or last season?
Yeah, I think obviously, obviously it being a new coordinator, I've got to sit back and kind of watch for the first few weeks of that happening and got to learn and, like I said, kind of take a back seat to it. And so it's been fun to learn. I love hearing from new coaches, and I think Scott's doing a great job of really showing us his vision about how he really looks at each play, and we're trying to go execute those the best we can.
You're getting ready to start the same group of 5 at offensive line for fourth straight week, which I think it would be a season high. From your perspective, what's the importance of that group building chemistry and you building chemistry with that same group we got?
Yeah. Well, first, I think we have confidence in all those guys. Everyone that's been in there has done a great job, and it definitely helps, like you said, from week to week having some continuity and seeing the same guys. And I think even for them, just being able to communicate with each other, and when you can stack weeks and reference things from weeks prior and say this is the same look or a similar look to what we had this X week, whatever it might be, I think is super helpful for those guys.
Go ahead.
I know it was kind of raw after the game, and of course the loss was the only thing on your mind, but now it's been a few days, you've had time to look back on it. Being that you had such little practice and such little time to prepare, are you proud when you look back at your performance? Do you think you did some things you can build on?
Definitely some good plays, but it stings more than anything, I think, and it was just a really hard loss. It was, even sometimes when you have a game right after, it's easier to move on, but we had kind of a longer week this week, and so kind of really got to sit in it, and it was no fun. And so, obviously we did a lot of good things offensively throughout the game, but at the end of the day, didn't score enough points to win. So the mistakes kind of are what really stays in your mind, and you try to just learn from them and move on.
Along those lines about coming off the time miss, how were you able to establish such great rapport with Brock, and what is it about him that just really makes him stand out?
Yeah, I think you could probably put a lot of quarterbacks in and have good chemistry with Brock. He's a pretty good player, and I think a lot of our guys are like that. And so, again, I've gotten to watch a lot of practice clips, and it's not the same as being out there, but you get to learn a lot about how guys move and how they see certain routes for certain coverages. And so, Brock's, you put it close to him, and he's normally going to make a play.
To follow up on that, just how much of an asset is he when you look at how defenses try to prepare for him, but yet he's one of those multi-tool guys that can really be anywhere on the field?
Yeah, I think, as we move throughout the season, a lot of the defenses we played have now put their best players on Brock, and just tried really any way to slow him down, and he's been able to step up to the challenge really week after week, which is really a credit to him for preparing. He's in here early, working hard, and we have a lot of guys like that, but Brock does a great job leading the way in that way.
What jumps out about Tampa's defense that you're seeing so far?
Yeah, obviously they like the pressure, like to do a few different things, and Coach Bowles has been there for a while, and so just relying on, again, our coaches to put in a good game plan and us trying to execute.
Off topic here, but today's signing day in college football, and I know when you go back to your coming out of high school playing early, you probably want to get on the field as early as possible, and play as soon as possible, but you had to wait a little while.
Yeah.
Looking back, was there a benefit to that maybe kids need to be a little bit more aware of?
Yeah, I think I definitely benefited. I mean, I didn't play for my first 2 years, and I didn't really until the end of my third year in college. I didn't play, and for me that was huge. And I knew when I went to Purdue, I wasn't gonna start right away. I knew I needed time to develop, and so I do think a little bit of that has definitely been lost in the college game, and staying at the university that you sign with, and but I think it's important. I think I learned a lot, and I know if I had to play early on in my college career, who knows what would have happened. It probably wouldn't have gone well, and might have lost confidence. But I think it's important to be able to develop whether you're on the field or not, and patience is, it's crucial.
Was the time that you was that being put to good use in terms of learning the craft of playing the position?
Yeah, I was not to go back in the glory days, but I was pretty undersized coming out of high school and needed to get in the weight room, and also needed to learn a lot about football, and just took those first couple of years to do that, and had great coaches, great strength staff. Really, the whole support in my college days was amazing, and really made me into the player I am.
Speaking of the glory days, Aidan, you've talked often about, even in college and even back in high school, you've always had kind of this unknown whether you were going to play or start or not or whatever, and it kind of has continued now.
Yeah.
So how comfortable are you now with being uncomfortable?
Yeah, I think it's almost expected at this point, and I don't think it's going to be anything different for the rest of my career. I hope I can be established and know I'm going to play, but I think it's part of the NFL. They're going to bring in new guys every year to try to compete and try to get the best product on the field, and so really whatever for as long as I get to play this game, I'm going to be ready to compete.
How fun and how fulfilling is it to throw a deep ball?
Yeah, very fun, especially to Trey, who we try to get the deep ball to a lot, and who, I mean, man, if you could count all the times in practice that Trey is running as fast as he can and doesn't get the ball, and to get rewarded like that, I think that probably makes me the happiest out of anything, because man, he's running a lot of sprints during practice and not get rewarded, and for him to on that stage to get rewarded was pretty awesome.
Well, to that point, Aidan, I saw a stat: five of the six longest career passes you had in terms of time spent in the air, yards in the air, were this past Friday against the Chiefs. Why do you think that is? Is it just more of the collaborating with Scott Turner, or what else might it be?
Yeah, I think every week is a new week, and each scheme is different, and you try to exploit the defense you're playing against any way you can. And I think in that particular game, that's where we thought we could attack them. And again, when you say that, it makes me think about the protection, how good our protection was, and how awesome our offensive line did, and keeping me upright and giving me time to make plays on the field. Because really, you could have the best skill players, you could have 100 Brock Bowers, 100 whoever, and if the O-line can't protect, then it doesn't mean anything. So the offensive line should have said that before, but did an awesome job.
I know it's a small sample size, but how has Scott Turner helped you out?
Yeah, he's been clear with the communication. It's been great to have him in meetings and kind of just going through what he thinks. And obviously we haven't changed our entire offense, but there's been some wrinkles that he's added from his past. And so it's just been fun to communicate with him to kind of pick his brain about what he thinks.
Awesome.
Great. Thanks,
Thank
Aidan.
you.